shape like the Garden of Eden when the Adam and Eve were created.
According to the church, it would have an airport big enough for wide-body jets and millions of acres of fertile land.
This is why he's engaged in Brazil to cultivate those wasted land into beautiful, fertile farmland, produces millions of tons of food.
It would teach the Brazilians new farming methods, educate the area's mainly Catholic population, and unite religions. People on the farm hope that Moon, now in his 80s, will spend his last years in Brazil. From here, he can communicate with his 200 other projects around the world.
I have been with him there in the Pantanal, which he considers one of the gates, one of the earthly gates of the kingdom of heaven, going at 3 o'clock in the morning with no reason except a compelling spiritual reason to go into places that nobody will go because they're not tame yet. He could get lost and nobody will find him in 10 years.
To be near their Messiah, Korean and Japanese Moonies are bussed in after a grueling flight from Asia.
And these families living with the nature, they can learn the original aspects of God that was lost after the fall of man.
His followers fish like Father Moon, work on the land, pray and procreate in small air-conditioned rooms.
And for Reverend Moon especially, a place where the families should do what they were supposed to do in the Garden of Eden, and it was done wrong, so we should do it right.
Moon has other great dreams, like a road from London to Tokyo, but it is just a dream. At New Hope, there's no airport for wide-body jets. Its manager says it rains erratically, so it's hard to grow crops. Despite Moon's talk of uniting religions, local Catholics dismiss his creed as junk theology.
But it's quite clear that in the history of mankind, always someone who came with a big idea or a new understanding was stoned. And after his death, they made a big statue and proclaimed it as a saint. It always happened.
Sealed inside his many fine houses, gazing out over tropical gardens or great oceans, Moon has had many sorrows. In 1980, his son, Hyun Jin, was killed.
This Moon's child went to heaven and became the ruler of the heaven. Even Jesus came and bowed down to this child.
Moon's followers said they'd seen visions of his son taking the place of Jesus.
Because he was Moon's child, he can have this kind of position in the spiritual world, in the heaven.
A higher position
than Jesus. And he was going to hold that position until his dad comes.
As Moon saw it, to achieve his proper place in heaven, his dead son needed a wife.
And so they took his body, I suppose, in a coffin and went ahead with the marriage ceremony. He was married, the corpse was married to Bohee Pak's daughter.
Julia Moon, the daughter of Moon's right-hand man, leads his international ballet company.
And so she married with his picture in his arms, in her arms. And it was strange. But we simply accepted the fact that that was the case.
A baby was found and given to Julia Moon to bring up with her dead husband.
We had the wedding ceremony, we had entertainment.
So it was an ordinary wedding, except the bridegroom wasn't there?
Yeah, exactly, yes.
Much of Moon's wealth flowed to his children. Nansuk says her husband, Hyun Jin, spent it on cocaine in Harlem. High on drugs, he would threaten her.
There were a lot of times he kept saying he was going to kill me, he was killing me. There was a point that I knew he was going to kill me. But I knew when he was drunk enough, he was high enough, he was capable of doing anything.
Physically abused, she fled the Moon compound with her children. At the beginning of the year 2000, Moon celebrated his 80th birthday. As some saw him, a prophet out of step with time.
In one speech, he said, it's better for men to cut off their private penises, and he said penis, than to engage in a homosexual act. Over time, he became more embittered, more angry with the Western world for not accepting him, for not realizing and bowing down to his messianic role.
May God bless you.
The world statesmen who speak at his conferences are a dwindling band. They include Dan Quayle, Kenneth Kaunda, and Sir Edward Heath. They applaud his work for peace, but Sir Edward can't say what he's actually achieved.
I can't name anything, no. But what I've done is to address their conference. I think this is the third occasion. No, I have no connection with Dr. Moon.
But Moon can lay claim to one crowning achievement: a reconciliation with his old enemy Kim Il-sung, the leader of North Korea. Moon agreed to invest millions in a country he once thought satanic.
Reverend Moon, in his own lifetime, has done more than any individual I have ever known in history.
Why Moon's son, Hyun Jin, fell to his death from the 17th floor of a hotel in Reno remains unexplained. So, finally, does the drive and true nature of his father. Some say their assets and lives were stolen by a megalomaniac.
You know, sometimes when I think about it, the loss of time and the violation is so great that...
Others say Moon has infused their lives with meaning, and for that, by some, he's revered.
Reverend Moon will be known far more, far greater in the next 100 years, next 1,000 years. And he will be known as the man who truly brought the truth and changed the world. Not but the bullet and fire, however, by the Spirit of God and the truth of God. He brought the more change here on earth than anybody else.
And Reputations returns in 2 weeks' time here on BBC Two.